Contact us at official.streetsmarks@gmail.com. Listen to us exclusively on YouTube. Street Smark Audio. Fuck with us. Official.streetsmarks on IG. Street Smarks fan page on Facebook. Street_Smarks on Twitter. This is Street Smark Audio. August 27th, 2017. I'm with Betty Butthurt, Hot Stuff Hollywood.
No. You know what? Yeah, I am butthurt because I was robbed and then I was screwed out of my title. So yeah, if I'm having a little pain in the anal area, that's why.
Oh, I figured it'd be another hemorrhoid.
No, the hemorrhoids are all cleared up, but thank you for asking.
Previous Street Smart discussion. One day I'm gonna have I'm gonna defend my championship.
Yeah, one day when you grow some testicles. I don't know what happened to them. Maybe the solar eclipse made them shrivel up and they turned into a baked potato looking poony poon. But hopefully they will reform into two whatever size testes you originally had, and you will be a man, not a little girl, but a man, and step up to the challenge, the ultimate challenge, and give me a shot at what's rightfully mine.
One day. But it's cool that you bring up the eclipse again, because I just wanted to ask you a question.
Right. What's happening?
All right. The Earth rotates east to west. I know you're not a damn scientist or anything like that. But
this is true.
You've been through 12 years of public indoctrination.
Right.
So, the Earth rotates east to west. All right. Mm-hmm. Sun rises in the east, sets in the west. Right.
You know what I'm talking about?
And the moon rotates around the Earth east to west. Mm-hmm. All right. So if the Earth rotates faster than the moon, mm-hmm. how can the moon travel across the America?
Well, if the Earth is rotating faster than the moon, would it be possible that the rotation of the Earth could make it appear like the moon is moving across it?
It wouldn't be appear. You got to think. In a heliocentric model, Earth rotates around the sun. Mm-hmm. All right. So since the moon is in gravitational orbit around the Earth, right. It has to rotate slower, because if it rotated faster than the Earth,
it would break out the orbit.
It's not even that. You would see more than one moon a day.
Oh, really?
You know? Well, obviously.
Oh yeah, because it's lapping the Earth.
Right. You see what I'm saying? Gotcha. So, how can the moon travel across the Earth if the Earth goes faster than the moon?
Well, I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
On a globe model of the Earth, it's impossible, because the Earth travels faster than the moon does. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? However, on a flat Earth model, the moon can travel because the Earth doesn't move.
Oh, okay. I see where we have gone down the rabbit hole. Okay, so are you saying that? All right, so I didn't watch none of the West is Nuts, so the Eclipse stuff. So I am very ignorant of as to. I mean, well, I watched the main event once it covered them.
Right.
But as far as tracking and stuff,
but you didn't hear any of the fucking deets about it. You didn't hear NASA's explanation of why this is going on, how this occurs this way.
But it's so interesting you said, but before, because I knew it was supposed to be about Route 230. So Before then, from like the time I got up to probably like 1-ish or something, when I was looking in the sky, I was looking for the moon because I was trying to see how I wanted to watch it get closer and closer to the sun.
Right.
But I could never see the moon though.
Right.
I never saw it.
Interesting. I'll tell you like this.
Oh, that is interesting. So yeah, tell me why I never saw the moon.
I'll tell you a couple stories.
Okay.
In 2009, all right, I was still in the United States Air Force.
Careful, Fooch.
So I was working in Florida.
Careful, Fooch.
I was working for this specific branch in the Air Force that dealt with seismological equipment.
Okay.
But that's neither here nor there. The point of this is, I'm a mark for metals. All right, you know what I'm saying?
I like belts and you like metals.
Right.
Give me my damn belt there.
One day when you step into the arena. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of medals you can get. Good conduct, typewriting, just playing. But
Purple Heart.
yeah, Purple Heart, Congressional Medal of Honor, Air Force Cross, blah, blah, blah. But there's one medal that you can get. It's called the Antarctica Service Medal. You get this medal for spending 30 days consecutive in Antarctica.
Okay.
So one of the reasons why I joined the military was not only to get a paycheck, was to travel. Okay. So I was like, shit, I need to get on every continent. You know what I'm saying? So I need to find a way to how to get this Antarctica medal. Okay. So I never met anybody with this medal until about 2009. I see a guy that I work with. We're in the same squadron. So I see him with this medal. I say, yo, how'd you get that medal? You've been in Antarctica. You know what I'm saying? He tells me, you've been in Antarctica 30 days, yada, yada. I said, okay. So what's Antarctica like? You know, because I want to know.
Right.
I want to go down there and kick a fucking penguin into the sea.
You know it's very cold in Antarctica.
Regardless. You know what I'm saying? I want to go.
Okay.
So he says, well, you fly to New Zealand.
Okay.
And then you take a helicopter all the way to Antarctica.
Okay.
And I said, how long does it take? He says 45 minutes. I said, bullshit. There's no way from the tip of New Zealand you can get to Antarctica in 45 minutes.
By helicopter.
By helicopter.
Huh.
So where we're at, there just so happens to be a globe.
Okay.
All right? So you know how the globe has the legend and it shows you for every inch, there's 500 miles, yada, yada, yada. So I, with my finger, I say, yo, this is like 3 inches right here. And it's more than 3 inches from New Zealand to Antarctica. So I'm saying, you telling me you went 1,500 miles in a helicopter in 45 minutes. He says, nah, it was like 2-3 hours, right? So he changed the story. So now I know he's lying.
Because even still, can I...
It's still wrong.
Yeah.
There's no way, right? So we go back and forth, and I'm pointing the globe at him and everything, and I'm like, yo, it's mathematically impossible for you to be traveling in a helicopter. What kind of helicopter were you in? A supersonic helicopter? Were you traveling light speed? What the fuck's going on? So he's stumbling and tap dancing around the answer and shit, and then a whole bunch of his friends come into the room. And then he just morph into the motherfucker, into their conversation.
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? And then shit, the conversation just changed and everything like that. And then I go back doing my shit. I watched him. You know what I'm saying? I just had to keep my eye on this motherfucker because he's a liar. Second story. Let's fast forward to 2014. I did a fucking defense contractor job in Afghanistan for a year. 6-figure job. All right? Working for the military industrial complex. So, I make the 6 figures. I got the money to go to Antarctica. So you can fly down to fucking South America. And then from South America, you take a cruise line and you go to Antarctica. So I'm starting to book the flights. Because the first thing I was going to do, I was going to go to the fucking World Cup in Brazil. It was like $4,000 just to get there. And all the motherfucking hotels in Brazil and fucking Sao Paulo and Rio de Janeiro and Buenos Aires, all those fucking hotels were booked. And it was $4,000 to get there. You see what I'm saying? So even if I got there, I didn't know where the fuck I was going to sleep for a week. So I was like, fuck that. I'll just go to Antarctica. No problem. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody going to Antarctica, just rich motherfuckers, right? So I try to book the motherfucking flight to South America and book the cruise line into Antarctica. Can't go. Not allowed.
How come you're not allowed?
Wouldn't give me a reason. Just says you would try to process your credit card and shit, and then the motherfucking website would error.
Interesting.
And I had the money. You know what I'm saying? Had the money. Couldn't go. Then I start researching some shit called the Antarctica Treaty.
I think I've heard about this.
Antarctica Treaty says basically like all these different countries of the world, they got a piece of Antarctica and everything, and they all fucking in cahoots to not travel to not have commercial travel to Antarctica. So my thought is, okay, why the fuck is Russia and America talking shit, trying to have a fight, you know what I'm saying, over in Syria and in the Middle East, but at the same time, y'all still doing business in Antarctica with this Antarctica Treaty? Is you at war or is you not at war?
Interesting question.
Can I travel there or can I not travel there? And if I can't travel there, why the fuck can I not travel there? What are you hiding? I'll tell you this. Another. I don't know how versed you are in Judaic mythology.
Know a thing or two.
But in the forbidden book of Enoch in the Old Testament, it tells that the fallen angels, the renegade angels that came to Earth, who wanted to have sex with the human women.
Oh yeah, the daughters of man.
Yeah. They got trapped in the ice in Antarctica. Okay? Because see, like, all right, so in the genealogy of from Adam all the way down to Noah, all right, you know what I'm saying? Adam had Cain and Seth and all these motherfuckers or whatever. And they all lived like 800, 900 years. But then there was one motherfucker, his name was Enoch. He only lived 365 years. And then he just vanished with God.
Right.
And he was there at the end of the world to see the fallen angels get trapped before the flood of Noah. Just saying.
Interesting.
Here's a tidbit for you. Did you know that NASA, translated in Hebrew, means deception?
No. Excuse me. No, I didn't know that.
Just saying.
No. Well. I mean, I don't even know where to even go from there. Like, so. I mean, because it raises like 1,001 questions.
It does.
Sure.
It does. I'll put it like this, man. I've been on all over this planet. You know what I'm saying? And there's two things that I know. A bunch of my contemporaries have not left their city. So how the fuck are you going to tell me that the earth is round? You can't. You know what I'm saying? You ain't never been to Australia. I have. You ain't never been to Korea. I have. You ain't never been to Germany. I have.
I got the perfect question for you there. So, well, really it predicates on if you're a Star Watcher or not. Are you?
I am.
So, are there Geez, I forget what they call the North Pole or the South, or in the southern hemisphere. I mean, not the northern, the southern version of the North Star.
Oh, I don't know.
Okay, because said one of the counter arguments that I've heard brought up to the flat Earth theory is that the southern hemisphere has its own constellations. That said, I guess they have a South Star. You know what I'm saying?
It's not verifiable.
Well, I mean, I don't know because for one, I've never been there, so
Right.
and
But I've been a lot of places. I mean, I have flown from Singapore to Amsterdam. I have flown from Frankfurt to Baltimore. I have flown from LAX to Seoul. I have flown from LAX to Sydney. None of these flights make sense on a globe Earth model. None of them. Because if you crash, you just crash in the water. Now, I've taken that flight from Frankfurt to goddamn Baltimore a billion times. A billion times. I'm probably one of the only motherfuckers in the world that has gotten fucking pussy on 2 continents in the same day.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Very nice.
You know what I'm saying? You leave your German bitch, you fuck her. You come back, you get back to the motherfucking USA. You take that motherfucking Baltimore flight to Cleveland, you fuck the Cleveland bitch.
That's how you do it. International player.
You don't know the half. And I'm telling you, the flight path does not make sense to me. Because let's just say you're taking off from Baltimore, right? You fly up the East Coast, all right, and then you start touching tips of Greenland, you know what I'm saying? Then you skip over to Iceland, and then you come down over into the UK, and then finally descend into Frankfurt, right?
Okay.
It's 7 hours and 56 minutes. All right, you can fly just across the sea, across the Atlantic Ocean, and cut time, right? But they say, but if you crash, then you're just crashing in the water. All right, that makes sense. And then you play on your fears and everything like that. But on the flat Earth model, you're not flying over the Atlantic Ocean. You're flying directly over these land masses.
Really?
Yeah. It's not this big curvature type deal that they try to represent. Just saying.
Oh, man, I wish I could see... saying like a animation or a video of what you're saying in motion and stuff. There's probably one on YouTube or somewhere.
There are, and it's funny because on the they'll have on transatlantic flights and everything, they'll have these TV screens, that you can watch movies and everything like that. And also, you can play these trivia games.
Oh, shoot. Yeah. Better be glad I wasn't on them flights with you. But you better be glad I didn't join the Air Force.
Many of those flights I've always won too. So I like to consider myself the transatlantic trivia champion as well.
Which means he won one time and then he ducked everybody else until he was discharged. That's what that means.
Courtesy of CageSideSeats.com. 23 years ago today in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Shane Douglas defeated Two Cold Scorpio in the finals of a one-night tournament to win the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. The full episode of ECW Hardcore TV featuring that match is on the WWE Network. The story wasn't what went down in the tournament, right? Mm-hmm. All right, post-match, Douglas does his thing, right? He accepts the tournament, the title, said he starts giving his promo, shouting out Ric Flair, shouting out the fat man Dusty Rhodes, you know what I'm saying? Nice. And they can all kiss his ass.
Oh, damn.
Right.
Oh, shit.
So in the mean, it was like a screw job.
Okay.
Not akin to the screw
Oh,
job.
that happened earlier with my Street Smark Audio Trivia Championship. Not quite a screw job like that.
Not quite. All right. So between Paulie and Shane Douglas, they concocted that it's time for them to break away from the NWA because they got to pay tribute. You know,
You need that money?
right to fly that banner, and they got the notoriety. But at this point, in August of '94, they are the driving force of the NWA promotion. It's sort of like how in the mid '80s that Jim Crockett, like they had NWA satellites in Dallas and Tulsa and San Francisco and in Portland and all over the place. But really, you just saw Ric Flair and all his guys in Charlotte because they were the guys that were making the money. They were the guys that had national TV. So the NWA, it's kind of funny how JCP, Jim Crockett Promotions, WCW, and NWA all get fused in this synonymous, interchangeable hodgepodge of a thing. People think of Ric Flair, you can say NWA, you can say WCW, you can also say Mid-Atlantic, Jim Crockett Promotions. It's because they were the guys that were making the most money out of all the promotions. They were the guys that had the national TV deal, and they were the guys that had the hottest guy in the business in the South, which was Ric Flair. Okay, so it made no sense for Jim Crockett to keep paying tribute to Geigel and all those guys in St. Louis, so they broke away. So it's the same thing that Jim Crockett did several years later.
Okay.
They got hot. The AWA did the same thing.
Oh, shoot.
You know what I'm saying? Vern was making money, and Vern thought, hey, I can make... I mean, Vince did the same thing. Vince Sr. did the same thing. They figure, hey, I can make money without you guys. Let me just break away and just start running my own towns. Vern did it. Vince did it. Crockett Jr. did it. And now, here's Paulie's turn. Yeah. So, Paulie gets with Shane. Shane understands the severity of this. Because if it don't work, they're pretty much done in the business. Because no independent organization is going to deal with them. At this point, you just try a hostile coup to break away from the NWA. The safety and the security of the NWA. Right. You don't have the money, you don't have the promotional power of a Vince or a Vern at the time when they broke. You just got this public access TV deal and a bunch of no-name guys.
They showing titties on pay-per-view.
Not pay-per-view.
On
home video. Right. So this might not work. What they don't know is Vince is sliding the money back then. So it was going. Vince was sliding money Vince was sliding money to Cornette and Heyman.
What?
Vince had and Lawler. He was doing it. I mean, he was using Lawler's TV to refine his heel character. He was using Paul and Jim and Cornette as developmental guys. He would peel guys from Lawler every now and then, but the majority of those new generation guys were Smoky Mountain Wrestling guys. Yeah. I mean, you got Tom Pritchard. You got Tony Anthony, Dirty White Boy, becoming the plumber guy. You had Tracy Smothers becoming Freddie Joy Floyd or whatever his name was. You had Skip.
I was going to say, does he count?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, he counts. Bob Holly.
Oh, he was from down there?
Yeah, I mean, I think he did a show or two. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And then once you use those guys, and they all became jobbers, basically. Yeah. And then he started cherry picking Paul's guys. They were jobbers too, really. I mean, honestly, who were the guys that really made the most money from Vince that came from Paul? Van Dam and the Dudleys.
They got a little something out of those three.
Yeah, because he didn't do that with Taz. I mean, Dreamer was a non-factor. Sabu had a quick run. Sandman had a quick run. Taz took money because he became an announcer.
Yeah.
For
a minute.
Right. So He didn't make any money off of anybody. I don't think he made money off of anybody. Really? Because maybe
Unless you count Stone Cold.
Man, he was in there for like 3 months tops.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying?
I can't give you Stone Cold. Stone Cold being synonymous with ECW is like The Rock being the WCW World Champion.
Well, I was just looking at him as Skip or Candido to Smoky Mountain and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
did a little minute.
But he made a name for himself as Chris Candido in Smoky Mountain. More so, making a name for himself as Chris Candido, Suicide Blind. You don't think of Chris Candido as in the '93 ECW run. You think of Chris Candido after Skip.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I wouldn't even. I would count him more as a Smoky Mountain guy, going to Vince.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. Yeah. That's all I got there.
All right.
Yeah, because, the closest ones would be the Dudleys and Rob Van Dam. But, you know.
It has to be somebody. Nah, because Benoit and them went to WCW first. So, yeah, I wouldn't count them as money making. They didn't make the money that the Dudleys made.
The Dudleys were super hot for a little minute,
They were super hot. Hotter than Van Dam ever got.
Yeah.
Way hotter. Even with the world title. Nowhere near.
Yeah.
Dudley Boys are probably the most successful ECW guys. Probably. Out of the whole promotion.
Damn. Well, yeah.
I mean, they made the most money with Vince. And that's how I figure. You know what I'm saying?
And they're still going too. I mean, some capacity, or at least they were. I think Bully Ray's still doing something with Ring of Honor. I can't tell you what Brother Devon doing.
No, he's probably training. I was gonna go to their school. It's in Melbourne.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm. I was gonna go, not to train. I was just gonna go just to see it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, nah.
Like, oh, she about to get in the business.
Nah.
Oh,
I'm an armchair guy. I'm not. I can't take bumps.
Shoot, if somehow I could be involved with WrestleMania, I'd take a bump. So
I'll take a bump at WrestleMania,
Yeah,
but
that's some
for
kind of-
$25 a night, nah, I'm not doing it. I don't want to pay my dues.
Oh man, a lot of people don't. But you know who did pay their dues? The backyard and front yard legend that you never heard of. Yours truly, 7 years strong of, you know what I'm saying, paying my dues on the 177th and Harvard, I'm sorry. And so, you know.
People gonna be drinking so much, man, every time you talk.
Well, man, if y'all don't know what he's talking about, we're talking about the Street Smark Audio drinking game. That's whenever one of us clear our throat, which we do quite frequently. You go ahead and take a drink of your favorite beverage. Or if you're a smoker, you go ahead and take a puff of your favorite substance of choice, though we do not recommend that you indulge in mushrooms, LSD, crack, cocaine, mushrooms, or any other hallucinogenic drug that is not marijuana.
Yeah, right. No ice.
And can't forget no freaking ice.
I was gonna do a Street Smart Cinema for Suburban Commando. No, I had like half the review written up, but I was being lazy and I wrote it on my phone, typed it up on my phone, right?
That seems harder than writing it on paper.
All right, and I fucking didn't save it.
Ooh.
So the next series of recap shows, which will be probably after Blood Feast, we'll be reviewing Suburban Commando. But in the meantime, in between time, we're gonna come back and we're gonna review Ultra Clash.
Ultra Clash.
Peace.